Good morning, everyone. Let's get the party started, shall we? Welcome to the trade floor for a October. What is it today? The 7th, 2019. Risk disclaimer: I don't click your mouse. You don't click my mouse, and that's the way we like it. And this webinar is for the exclusive use of our members, like you, right? We're going to look at the week ahead. We're going to take a look at some volatility events that are coming up this week. Oops, let's go back to this. Do a full market analysis. Try to get as much energy put together as we possibly can. Look, folks, it's 6 o'clock in the morning. What do you want? I'm going to try to bring it up to a high level. Let's see if you can join me. Chime in the chat with any questions that you have. I'll do my best to answer them. Music is brought to you by Happiness Frequency, serotonin, dopamine, endorphin release music by binaural beats, relaxing music by Green Red Productions. If you're wondering what's in the background, trying to keep a spa-like environment going on for our forex trading. So this is the week, the schedule ahead this week. Trade floors right now. Basic trading is coming up on Monday night, which is tonight at 7 p.m. We'll discuss Heikin Ashi for that. The preview that I put out yesterday talked about that. Advanced trading is going to be talking about swing trading. Now that's going to be on Tuesday night. We've been doing the symposiums on Wednesdays at 7, symposium reviews. That's morphing into the advanced trading section. And we'll be talking about swing trading Tuesday, 7 p.m. on the advanced training channel. Cool? Cool. That's it for that. Let's take a quick peek. I'm going to go grab the calendar. So we got some events happening here. Bring this over. So Fed Chair, boy, I gotta speak this morning, man. It's gonna be rough. It's gonna be a long meeting this morning. If I can't slow it down and get it together, make sure we got the sound up. Yeah, sound's up. Chime in too. If you're having any difficulty with the audio or with the visual, chime in. Let me know. We should be good. Let me get into the chat for this one. Make sure we're I'm gonna add. So we're in this right here. This is where you're joining in. We're going to add the thread. Please chat here. Oh boy. Make sure we're in the right spot. Please chat here. If you got a currency, we're going to try to look at all currency pairs. If you have a currency pair you're interested in, go ahead and slap it right into here. We'll look at it for you. All right, taking a look at some volatility events. Now, keep in mind, guys, a lot of these with these announcements, often what they're doing is they're accelerating price in the direction they're likely going anyway. They're just kind of speeding things along. There are a handful of these, though, that can change the direction of a market because they're important enough. Well, let's discuss what those are. They're certainly not this one. This is Fed Chair Powell speaking in Salt Lake City on the origins of the Federal Reserve or something like that. Father of the modern Federal Reserve, Mariner Eccles. So that's a 3 Red Bull event. Bring a pillow. That could induce a coma if you're not careful. That's 11 o'clock today. So downtown Salt Lake, get ready for the motorcade. No, they don't care about that. Powell doesn't travel like Trump. If you didn't know any better, Powell's going to come and go, and you wouldn't even know it happened. He's speaking again tomorrow. This one's a little beefier. This one's on data dependence in an evolving economy at the 61st annual meeting of the National Association of Business Economics and they've had 61 of those things. Yeah, bring a Red Bull for that one. and a Monster. Sugar-free, though. Look, we're keto here. Keto-friendly PAL speaking events. Eurogroup meetings all day Wednesday. I think you also have the Ecofin. Yeah, Ecofin's going on Friday. So you're going to have some European meetings on different economic topics going on in Europe being released. Now, they're not going to, these are typically aren't open, especially the Ecofin. They're not open to the public. So the meeting, you're not going to hear what they're talking about and saying, but they talk to reporters and stuff. They come out and say, what they heard. There's a report that comes out that discusses what they covered, stuff like that. But, so those are things that'll be interesting. Difficult to trade, aside from just know that there's going to be some whipping around of price as these guys open their mouths and talk to reporters and put their faces in front of mic, which is what most of these people like to do anyway. Politicians, if they can find a microphone, they'll find it, right? Fed Chair Powell speaks again Wednesday. This one is a little more important. Participating in a panel discussion, those are always good. At a Fed Listens event hosted by the Federal Reserve Bank of Kansas City, audience questions expected. That could be a mover. Just popping things around. Again, don't expect Powell to jump off script and start talking about things that haven't already been discussed. For instance, FOMC meeting minutes coming out at noon on Wednesday. There's really not going to be any revelations there. This is pretty much going to reinforce what we've already been told. The market, I'm sure, is going to go through it with a fine-tooth comb, looking for any kind of additional information or deviation or anything like that. They're not going to find much of anything. These meeting minutes are pretty benign. The meeting minutes I'm interested in are the ones that are coming out from the Euro on Thursday. There's quite a bit of, I don't want to say contention, but there's quite a bit of disagreement among the ECB members as to what to do moving forward. The whole Draghi going back to QE, looking for further quantitative easing and asset purchases to help the economy get going again. That opinion is not held by all the members. So it's going to be interesting to see what those meeting accounts generate. Before that, though, you got GDP. GDP, anytime you see GDP, like for instance here on Thursday, GDP from the pound, or CPI on Thursday. So pound is GDP, is growth. Economic growth. Did our economy grow? Did it shrink? Looks like they're looking for a little bit of contraction in their growth. That's what's anticipated for the pound. So that's one of the big three. One of the big three is CPI. That's inflation. CPI is inflation. They're expecting somewhat steady inflation numbers out of the U.S. This is probably going to be one of the more anticipated announcements this week, is this CPI announcement. That one should rock the house. And as always, we've got, trade war looming in the background, as well as Brexit information, things of that nature. So there's your look at the week ahead. Again, volatility events. For the most part, these things are going to be pushing price in the direction they were generally going anyway, just accelerating the process. Some of these are like pebbles being thrown into the pond. Some of these others are kind of like, bigger stones or rocks. No real boulders this week, though. No real boulders being tossed into the lake. All right, let's have a look at some currencies. This is the current, right now, currency strength. In fact, I'll copy this and post it really quick. I'll show you how I do my analysis on this. We'll go into trade floor. We'll pop it right in here into the bottom. However you spell strength. Strong right now. Swiss is strong right now. You got a little bit of, I'd say a little bit of yen strength. So this is risk off. Risk off is Swiss and yen. Right now weak. New Zealand. Also a little bit of Aussie. Everything else is kind of mixed. So how do we read this? Across the board, over here on the left-hand side, we've got the US dollar in this first column. So notice all these pairs have the US cross in them. Euro USD, pound dollar, Aussie dollar, New Zealand dollar, US yen, and US CAD. Now I've changed, you don't really look at the direction of these Heikin Ashis as well as the average. You don't really look at the direction, look at the color. The color, see how this is generally red? That tells me weakness in the currency in question. And the currency in question in this column is the US dollar. The US dollar is the common currency in all these cross pairs. So weakness here, a little bit of mixture here, a little bit of strength, mixture across the board. Whereas you look at something like over here on the Swiss, all these are Swiss crosses. Notice how we got a bunch of green. Well, that's just strength in the US Swiss right now. Strong US Swissy. Strong, well, as far as in the Swiss, strong Swiss across the board against all the crosses. Similar to yen, and I'm starting to regret that I put the yen in there as strong. I see a lot of mixture here. Strong against New Zealand and Aussie for sure. Yeah, I'm starting to regret that I posted the yen as something strong. It's just kind of mixed. Euro, a little bit of euro strength, although this is a mirage. I'm really not interested in buying any euro. Someone could argue that maybe there's a boy, this is too many mixed markets, and that's typical for a Monday. Let Monday happen, let the market make up its mind on certain directions, and we can take a look at this currency strength on a Tuesday, probably have a little bit more direction, or look at it after today's events, maybe this afternoon. Come back and check this chart and see if we have some more clarity on some of these crosses. All right, hey, euro pound, and we'll cover all of them. I've already had some requests. Euro USD, Shadow's looking for Euro USD, pound CAD, Euro CAD, Aussie dollar. We'll cover all of those. So here's euro pound. We'll try to get through these as quick as possible. I look at my long term still bullish, midterm still bullish as far as my trend indicators go. These are Heikin Ashis. Long term price momentum still to the bullish side, although I am overbought. This is a 480 chart, so we're looking more swing look here. This is not dailies. This is more of a swing trade setup. Overbought. Really wish I could get into an oversold condition. So I'm looking for some kind of a pullback, and then I can get a little bit better of a buy. So I got that listed over here. I'm looking for some kind of a pullback, and then going up to my higher high. Plenty of room to do that if you scale back and look at your fib. From this high here down to this low here. Right now you're messing with that 23.6, which is interesting because it coincides with this reversal spot here and the psych level here at 89 even. So right now you're bouncing against a line that's kind of important. We break this line and go up, we're likely heading up to some little beefier resistance spots. You've got a 38.2 retracement level at 89.96 right on the psych level at 90 cents. So to me, I got to be bullish on this because that's still my my current setup. But I'd really like to get oversold first before I get too aggressive on some kind of a swing. Your daily pivots are already buying. You should already be in buy trades if you're taking those dailies on that. All right, that's my look there. If you're in any kind of a hedge, I'd say hold on and wait for this scenario to manifest itself. Get yourself, even if you have an oversold condition on a 240 or a 120, might be enough of a catalyst to continue this move up towards your next resistance level, which to me looks like this confluence between this upper channel portion, potential upper upper channel portion up here, and then your weekly R1 at 89.47. Words get in the way. Euro Aussie. This is a weekly chart. I have this up, I think, because I made this move down. Now, this is several weeks, people. There's a lot of time that's gone through here and then the retracement back up. But notice my retracement. Here's my move down. Here's my retracement. This is about a 50% deal, isn't it? And I got it drawn over here. Here's my top. Here's my bottom. Now, why did I draw this Fibonacci? I drew this fib because I had A bullish to range bound market, which switched to a bearish market, and that bearish market ended here. So I had this leg of a bearish market. That's where I'm drawing my fib from. Notice I've come up, I've tested this 50%, I've messed with it again, I've gone above it. I'm almost messing with that 618. So for me, if we start to get bearish on this again, on this Euro Aussie, which we're not there yet, we're still technically bullish. But if this starts to break down and go bearish, I've already marked this spot here as a potential landing zone, just above 1.6. I think we've talked about this pair. I've talked about it last week, and it's all still in play. This is a potential landing spot here for Euro Aussie, just above 161. Longer term, if this is a true Fibonacci and it's really going to hold and be bearish, like it's trying to set up here, we're looking to go down to 159.27. This is a great swing trade to kind of carry, not carry, that's not the right word I'm looking for. Trail stop is what I'm looking for. I'm not sure what your swap is going to be on something like this if you hold on to it. I don't like to carry stuff unless I know that I've got a good swap. Like for instance, US Swissy right now, which we'll talk about in a little bit. I like carrying that. I like carrying this pair here, Euro New Zealand. I like to carry this one short if I can. In fact, I did it here. I already hit my target. I'm out of this trade already. This trade's already gone. But I've made another move up, and I'm starting to set myself up for another swing low. Wonder here. Now notice I've got this little bit of a channel going here. This little thing here. I'm at the top of this channel. Notice my bottoms. So I don't mind. I can get rid of a lot of this here. This is already done. I've already made the money on that trade. I don't mind something like this. I retested this zone. It's a decent 100 pip trade. Love to trail stop it. If I can get, so I've got a 480 over here with overbought, so I'm already got a signal on my 480. You know, if I could go down to a smaller time frame like a 15 and see some kind of reversal pattern, like a double top or a break of trend line or something like that. Yeah, we're getting paid. So I'm still technically bullish on the 15. So if I can see some kind of reversal pattern, maybe I'd be using this as a trigger. But for now, I'm just probably getting in. In fact, I could just pull over my trade charts. And we'll do this as a carry. Let me show you my carry setup on this one, if I can find Euro New Zealand. See, I thought I had these organized. You know, you can organize these. I don't know if any of you guys knew that or not. Let's get all the Euros next to each other. Pull these all up. Stretch this out just a little bit. Bring the Euro CAD up. These aren't really organized. I don't know if you guys know the currency order that things go in. The order is Euro, Pound, Aussie, New Zealand, US CAD, Swiss Yen. That's the global organization of currency, whatever. So Euro New Zealand. Let's pop that over here. Let's do something really small because I'm already over leveraged. I got some big trades, some big carries I'm running. This is aggressive. Don't do stuff like this, guys. I'm still above my margin level at 3,200, but I'm counting on a U.S. Swiss move. Sometime in the next several days, or if it takes longer than that, so be it. But I'm making a swap every single day I'm in the trade. In fact, I'm making $11.50 just by being in this trade every day. In addition to that, on Wednesdays, it's my birthday. It's our birthday. Well, it's my birthday because I have FX Choice. On Wednesdays, I get hit 3 times. So this is going to be almost a $34, a little more than $34 swap fee I get paid just on one day for being in this position. Might be a little too beefy. I'm at $20 a pip on this $60,000 account. But I've got my reasons for being in this thing long. I'm trying to carry it. So I'm already I've used a lot of units on this one. Also on this sell trade on Euro USD, which I really believe in the short side on Euro USD. 0.05 is what we're going to use. We're going to sell it. Still have plenty of margin available. So here's what I'm going to do on the Euro New Zealand. What did we determine here on the move? You know, I don't mind trying to go all the way to this target at 173. I got the weekly S1 down here at 72.91. So I'm going to try to go for all these pips. Go to 73 even. Again, I'm hitting resistance. I'm overbought on you know, my bigger chart, my 480. I kind of like the move down here. So let's go to 173 on the target on the take profit. Now stop loss, I'm going to put something massive in. Notice this is almost cartoonish. This is a 5,000 pip stop loss. The only reason I'm putting this in is just so that when I do my trailing stop, which I'll slap one in here really quick, we'll do a 40 pipper. This shows up as yellow. It's a nice visual. It lets me know, hey, I've got a trail stop going on this guy right here. Cool. And there's our trade. Again, like the setup. I feel like I've got this upper channel going here. Drew a little cleaner on the other chart, didn't it? But I'm overbought. Looking to maybe retest these lows. I wouldn't mind just blasting through this whole thing and coming down here, but I'm going to take profit here at this 173 spot. All right, that's that one. That's a carry trade. Euro USD. I'm still a believer in this move right here. Call me crazy, but I've got 4 going on 5 days now of bullishness. So that's an extended cycle, probably a elongated cycle that I'm going to likely see some type of retracement on. That's what I'm anticipating. So we'll see. Now, what if this doesn't work? To me, when would I... So the question comes up. We addressed this last week. At what point do we take action? If something like this goes against what we're doing, when do we do something about it? To me, this setup here, where I'm going for this longer move down, I'm not really interested in taking any action until I break the 618. Once I break this 618 retracement from this move down and get that pullback and that signal that verifies to me that, hey, we broke the 618, we're getting buying signal now, and this thing is still open. This is where I need to take some action and get hedged. And if I do get hedged on that, I'm probably going up to my next resistance level, which to me is 111. Just above the weekly R2, 110.72. So this zone up here is what I'm going to be targeting. I'm going to make these dotted here so that you guys can tell this is not what I anticipate is going to happen, but I'm making a chess player's preparation, right, in case it does. I got to break 110.25. So really, this trade is going to sit there. And I don't mind that. I'm collecting a swap fee every day I'm in that trade. If I look at the specification on Euro USD right now, I am on swap short. I'm getting paid almost 6 points a day, which is, 2/3 of a pip, or whatever that is, whatever the math is on that. 3/5. We're splitting hairs, but I'm getting paid, and on Wednesday I'm getting paid a pip and a half for being in that position. So I don't mind holding on to it. I have a longer term vision of Euro USD going short anyway. If it doesn't happen right now, it'll happen, I feel, eventually. This is also something I would look to probably trail stop. Right? Okay, Euro CAD. Now, here's the thing about oil. I don't know if I posted that story in the CAD channel or not. Oil goes through this cyclical thing in the fall where it typically has pressure to the downside on it. Last year it was really accentuated, and we had to move down to $40 a barrel almost. Now I anticipate something similar to that happening again. where you go into the fall, things slow down. People, you have travel days certainly with the holidays and everything, but people aren't out there in their summer vacations driving around in as much. The demand for oil in and of itself goes down, and oil prices tend to dip. So that can weigh on the CAD. If you're in longer term positions on the CAD, don't let that be a complete decision maker for what you're doing, but let that be a part of your bias process to think, okay, oil is generally going to be going down over the next couple of months. That's going to put some pressure on the CAD to go down. So there you go. And here we had some oil news coming out, I think last week, which really affected the CAD crosses. Euro CAD, no exception. So now we're bullish on this Euro CAD, technically speaking. I wouldn't mind seeing a little bit more of a retracement, although from this move down to this move up, we have tested this 38.2. So this is going to continue to be bullish. My target's probably sitting, look at all this confluence up here around this R1. So I need some oversold conditions first though on EuroCAD. Give me an oversold spot like this, and then I'm probably more interested in a longer term swing, right? Something like that. You got a daily pivot. You should already be in daily pivots if you're taking those. Well, you probably wouldn't have taken one over the weekend with the gap, but you've got one coming up that's going up to 146.41 or thereabouts. We'll see where we're at this afternoon. So the play on this one is bullishness. If we continue to come down, really, I don't start to doubt this until I probably break 145.58. Look at all this confluence of support that you've got down here. We've got the weekly central, right? You got the 50% line, all this stuff here. So this is a pretty strong support level. Breaking the 38.2, breaking this trend line, slapping against all of this would be pretty strong support. If you're really interested in being long and being bullish on this pair, you've got to buy here. If it even finds a way to get down here, this is absolutely a buying spot with the potential of going up to this target here. There's your long-term swing setup. So you got to keep an eye on this. Get your oversold conditions. Let's see where we're at with our price. Euro Swissy. Again, we had strength in the Swiss, right? Allegedly. So this is a little bit of strong on strong crime, because you've got a tiny bit of Euro strength right now that we're dealing with. It's temporary. And you got some Swiss strength. So you'll have a mixed market here. There's not really a nice smooth trend, I think, in Euro Swiss. Your long-term price momentum stuck in the middle. You got a little bit of bearishness now, but I think this is a reaction to what we've had recently in this retracement move down. So if you're to draw some channels to try to get a little more specific with this, here's some lows that you're dealing with. So you could make the argument that you're at a trough of lows. Well, I just don't like this. I don't like this at all. The difficulty I have with channels, the difficulty I've always had with channels, they're so subjective. How do you know, you're drawing the same lines that someone else is? It can get a little tricky. You know what I'm seeing? I'm seeing this right here. There's my target. If you're going to be anything on this, it's probably going to be bullish because you're oversold. You're oversold over here, trying to get ready to buy on this Euro Swissy, going up probably to this target. So I don't know how many are trading the Euro Swiss. That's likely the play. If this breaks down and does like this, then all bets are off. You're going to look for the pullback and probably go right back into a rangy situation where you're doing something like this. But again, I'm oversold. I don't expect this thing to be what happens. There's probably lower hanging fruit out there than this pair. Because again, I like to look for the value. If I have strong versus weak, that's why I put up that strength chart. I like to see the value in the pair that I'm trading. I don't see the value here. I see a mixed market that's rangy, so I got to buy the bottoms and sell the tops. Right now I feel like I'm at the bottom, so I got to buy it. All right, Euro Yen, get through with the euros here. This is all bearishness. And this what we drew over here is still in play. It's not as clean as probably what we had drawn. We've made a move up, we've come down. We didn't come all the way to this target here, but we've made a pretty nice move down to this spot. Our bearishness is still in play. This over here is our chess player's attempt, at what to do if it goes against us. We can take that off the books. I think this is all still in play. All these levels are still in play. You've got this level right here with the weekly S1. I think that's our next move. This is a sell-off on Euro Yen going down to this next target. That's 100 pips too, guys. That's not a chop liver trade. I like the strength in the yen. If the euro can get a little bit of weakness in it, get some bad news somewhere, this thing could push itself down. We could see ourselves back down here towards 117. I like that trade. I like the continuation play as well down into this level. Long-term trend still down. Long-term price momentum still stuck below. I know this is a 120. You've got a sell signal here happening too. So all that stuff points to a sell trade in Euro Yen. Pound Aussie. What was in play here? So this is what we drew a couple weeks ago. This is where we had a sell trade over here. We were trying to price average into it with this. We made a move down, but it didn't really complete the move. This would have been a great trail stop trade because you made a move about 150 pip move. See, this whole thing here is, these are 50s, right? These are splits. Oh no, those are the midpoints aren't in there. So this is actually, yeah, that's about 150 pip move down roughly. So this is 1, 2, 3. We were trying to see if we could get a 400 pip move. This whole thing is still in play. Just because I drew this arrow down like this didn't mean I expect it all to happen in one fell swoop. This move here is something that's going to transpire, I feel, over time. I think it's still there. And right now you have a setup for it as well. Overbought on the 480, getting ready to sell off again. Wish it was a little stronger. Notice my long-term trend indicators over here, my Heikinashis. Small bodies. Small bodies with wicks and shadows on them, with little dots of green and red mixed in there. What does that tell you about the market? Long term, anyway. Pretty mixed, right? Pretty mixed. And what do you do in a mixed market? Sell the tops, buy the bottoms. So we're at the top right now, aren't we? Have a little pullback. 480 chart's gone through. It's completed a cycle up. 3 candles up. Overbought. So if you're really bearish on this, the time to sell is now. If you happen to drift up here to 183.86, sell the crap out of this. Done. Pound New Zealand. Now I pulled back here for this longer term view, and I've had this in mind for a while. I've been in this mode, and I've scalped this. I haven't really stayed in this sell trade the entire time. I'm looking to scalp the some of these moves. But this is my longer term perspective. I've had this long move up since the end of July, beginning of August, all the way into mid to the 3rd week of September. I had this, this nice move up. I'm looking for the retracement of that move to at least the 50% zone, somewhere in there. So I've got this right here, 191.29 as a spot that's marked off. Now again, this is another one of those things. It could take a while for this to materialize. We could literally be riding this into the end of the year, or end of October, beginning of November. We could find ourselves. A lot of this is also fundamentals and news dependent because you got Brexit strapped to this thing, as well as trade war, and that goes for the pound Aussie as well. But this is my mental state, and I also don't mind being in a short trade on this because I'm getting paid on the swap fee. Not very much, but I am getting paid on the swap to be short on this. Now, in the meantime, if we look at like a 120, you're going to have some daily pivot trades to the buy side. 120 minutes, sorry. Hold on. Can't you feel that spa music in the background? See, there's your daily pivot short there. You should have sold that off. Kind of mixed bag in here, although that's below trend line. Central below central, close below close. So that's a sell-off. Here's another sell trade here you might be in. So you might be kind of in this sell trade. I wouldn't sweat it at all. Let this thing come down. We'll see where we're at. Probably going to be in here by the end of the day today. So there's really no buy trades on this to take right now. Long-term prospectus is still short. Pound dollar, I'm short on this one too. And I'm looking at my weekly S1. We just kissed it on the cheek last week. Just kissed your weekly S1 and then bounced off of it. I wouldn't mind a retest of that. Still looking at this bearishness here. Long-term bearishness still in play, although starting to be affected. Mixed in the moderate. Look at all these switches back and forth. Green to red, blue to red, all that stuff. So a little bit of a mixed bag in the more recent, let's do this here, in the more recent trend, Heikin-Ashi trend indicator, but long-term price momentum still coming down. This is a 482, so this is a bigger flow, and I'm almost overbought. I'm getting close to it, I've had some consolidation. I can just put it that way. So I feel like in my heart of hearts, we've got something that moved down. We've consolidated back a bit, and it's time to make our next move. So this is that third wave if you're looking at a really big scale. So again, I don't mind going for something like 122.23 on this one, which is, again, this is another 100 pip trade. How do you say no to that? I like it. How would I react if this thing doesn't work out? Or, you know, at what point would I feel this is not working out? Break this trend line. Break this trend line and probably even mess with breaking this high. Get myself a pullback over here of some kind and then a buy signal. That's really the only thing that would get me to change my mind on this bearish move here on pound dollar. Pound CAD, week on week crime, looks like to me, because you've got some look at all this mixture. This is not a good pair to trade right now if you're trying to be a trend trader. If you're trying to be, you know, just scalp some moves in and out, I think you go over here to your 240 and you play your overbought and oversold conditions on this one. I just don't feel like we have a trend or a market direction or any kind of conviction going on right now. You're starting to make some kind of a switch here on your long-term hikes. Your moderate hikes are just kind of mixed. I'm trying to kill time as this thing. So oversold. Oversold, a little bit of long-term price momentum, still trying to act bullish, but you're stuck in the middle. I like the buy trade on this one for some reason. But it's a scalp. I'm grabbing the ATR. And I'm probably grabbing less. So 52 pips on the ATR on the 240. If you see a decent buy signal, take this thing for, you know, 40, 50 pips up. And then get out of it. Because I don't feel like I have a good handle on any kind of direction here. If you want to go back and draw some highs, we still have this thing going on. I'll go back even further. Someone could make the argument that maybe you have this thing going on. So this is a consolidation pattern. This is that pennant where it's going to bounce around between these two spots maybe, and then at some point you're going to have the breakout. So we got to wait for the breakout. No worries. Pound Swissy, same thing. Here's your top. Here's your, I guess, your bottom. Pennant. Triangle, whatever you want to call it. And you're stuck in the middle of everything. This is a stay away. Stay away from Pound Swiss. I mean, it's just, well, as far if you're a trend trader, I guess if you're trying to scalp something, or maybe you're in a hedge on Pound Swiss, you got to keep trading it for some reason. Maybe just don't take the dailies. You don't have. That's the thing. What are the daily trades? The daily trades are attempting to trade in the direction of what we feel is the prevailing trend or the prevailing market direction. Well, we don't have a prevailing market direction on this pair, so you just have to switch your strategy to like a 240 cycle where you're selling the tops and buying the bottoms. Now, I don't even know what to do with this. I just pass on it. If you don't have to trade Pound Swiss, don't do it. Pound Yen, this is all bearish. Going back all the way to mid-September, this has been bearish. I think, see, where's the bottom on this is the next question. The near-term bottom, you could argue weekly S1 at 130.99, which is right next to the second 131. I think you've got with continued yen strength and pound uncertainty with Brexit, I think you've got a 130 target to even consider. This would be breaking that 618 is the only hesitation you have if you're a bear. Here's your low from this leg of bullishness to the top of it. Boy, it's right there, isn't it? That 618 is right there on top of it. A lot of confluence with your 50% retracement line is hit right here. Your 618 is hitting right here. So these are definitely bearish targets. Here, here. Now, when do we consider this maybe not so bearish? Well, you're going to have to get some news. There's nothing technical that's going to pull this thing out of here. I think you're going to have to get some fundamental reports out of somebody to show, global strength in the economy coming back, things like that. And you need to break this upper resistance level. And I'd say you'd probably have to come up pretty good and do something like this before I'd even think about being bullish. And again, this is not what I expect to have happen. This is the chess player in me thinking ahead. So if I sell this off, and I'm not in the best position right now, 240 looks as I'm kind of not there. But a daily pivot, I mean, you should be taking all these daily pivots short. If I take a daily this afternoon, I'm going down to 130, 140. At least I am for right now. I wouldn't mind taking this daily down to take it down to 131. What are you risking? You're in a bearish market. All these pivots have closed. They're all out. All these are done. If you've been trading like a good boy and girl, following your trend, you've made money all the way down on pound yen. And you should continue to do so. You get around this 130 spot down here though, I'd start pumping the brakes. Let's see what the next move is. But you're 160 pips away from that, so there you go. Aussie New Zealand, mixed bag in the moderate term, although still long term you're still bearish and you got overbought conditions. So this is a sell-off. Look at your long-term Heikin Ashi, still bearish. Again, mixed bag in the midterm, but I'm overbought, looking to sell off. Long-term price momentum still buried below the 20. So this is a spot. If I had a line drawn there. Good night, Jason. Talk. So here's this trade, and I'm kind of running into a little bit of mixture here, which is again is shown by my moderate term Heikin Ashi. So I've got to wait for overbought conditions, which I have. I could sell off and just retest these bottoms as a pretty conservative trade. So if you got to do something on New Zealand, Aussie New Zealand, do that. Certainly sell off this top if you get up here. Sell off of those. Really good sell. If you want to put pending orders to sell up here, I think it's a good idea. This can get so rangy, this Aussie New Zealand, because they're so similar, those two currencies. Aussie dollar. Wait, what is this? Did we call this? Good night. That's almost frightening to look at how accurate that was. When did I draw that? Oh, I remember that. That was the announcement last week. This was last week's announcement. That's like witchcraft stuff. That's scary. That shows that I have powers inside of me that I'm an X-Man, basically. I need to go get a wheelchair. I'm already bald. I need to go get a wheelchair and just wheel around with my psychic abilities and trade Forex. So what do we do now with this? Still bearish long term, right? Had a pretty decent pullback here, it looks like. This thing here really pushed those hikes up. Now starting to see that recover and fade. And I think it's just we've returned back. This is why I say most of these announcements are just noise. We started the central bank announcement here. It shot up, shot down, double bottomed, came up, recovered all the way to the top of this move over here, and then here we are basically at the same place we were before the whole thing started. Just like, what's the point? It's just chaos for a little bit, and then it's all back to normal. This is a bigger rock being thrown into the pond. But what now? Oversold condition. So, don't draw red. So if we're doing something, it's probably a buy. Oops, sorry guys. Will I take it off? Can I draw a line? Thank you. I don't want that thick one. Let's go with this one right here. What did I do here? There we go. So buy to where? Well, I'm not trying to be too super aggressive. I can take this thing off. This is driving me nuts. Get that out of the way. Mixed market, kind of messing with the trend line. Down, up, down. Maybe we retest these highs. I don't think we get up in here. If we do, sell the crap out of it. Definitely sell off of that. Just like I had it marked over here. Same thing. But, you know, also, I don't mind buying off of this. I'm not really super trending on this thing, I don't feel. My preference is to be short. Because look at my long term. You know, preference is for me to be short. So if I'm going to buy this here, it's going to be a scalp. I'm going to try to get in and out of it fairly quickly. Certainly, if you're in a buy trade and you hit this, retest this high, get out of your long positions, because I don't mind selling back off of this. And I don't know, either retesting this low here or testing this and then bouncing off of that. It's probably the play, because you're oversold right now on the 480, which means you need to come up for a couple of days. So that's probably your play. Let's leave this up and see what happens, see what it looks like by the end of the week. See if I really am a warlock. Aussie CAD. Buy this one. I've already got it marked. You're buying this because you're oversold. Long term is up here being bullish. I also like the weakness in oil here. I do. If gold can get a little bit stronger, maybe if we stretch out the trade war a little bit, you've got a some kind of catalyst. But this is a higher high transforming into a higher low, which transforms into a higher high. This thing could very easily look at all this structure over here on the left hand side, coinciding with this weekly R1 and the psych level at 91 cents. That's your target. You're breaking down a little bit here on this, because this might take a little bit longer to materialize, because you've closed lower on the day, right? Well, you haven't closed yet, but you've made a move lower. You could close lower on the day, which means a possible daily pivot trade to the sell side. I'd skip it. I'd skip your daily pivot trade to the short side, guys. I feel like I'm starting to transition into something different here. I mean, if I was to blow this up, does this not feel like I'm starting to transition? Bullish, 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 bullish. This is a daily chart, by the way. Bullish, bullish. You see the move? You see how I'm starting to, my bodies are starting to thin out. I'm starting to switch my colors. Thin body, big wick, big shadow, changing colors, and now I'm bearish. So what's happening here? You see how I'm starting to break down? Bodies are starting to thin out, wicks and shadows, starting to change my colors. I have a potential change or a shift in long-term trend brewing. Okay? And I'm oversold. So you buy it. Cool. Aussie Swiss. Same thing. Buy probably to these tops. At least for now. Very mixed over here. But I'm oversold. Oversold, I need to buy this back up. And again, you might have a daily pivot trade to the sell side. If you take it, that's fine. Get out of it quick. Don't be in it long. I feel like long term, this is probably trying to come back up towards 67.50. Aussie yen. Still bullish. If I step back, oh, let's see. Let's get current. How about that? Oh, this is bearish. Connect your highs. Probably got something like that going. You do have this ending structure over here that you want to pay attention to. It's right in the middle of everything. So near term structure bottoming out is 71.61. Got to sell it. You're still bearish. Everything's still bearish. You're oversold over here. But so if you can see some kind of sell setup this week, wouldn't mind taking it. I really look at this coinciding here. I don't mind trying to retest this low as a conservative sell trade and be a little more aggressive and go for this is in play. I'd get out of it at that point, look for the retracement, and then see where I'm at, because then you're probably going to try to do this. So pull your profits before the weekly S1 on these shorts on Aussie yen. Still bearish market. Excuse me. New Zealand? Almost there, people. Oh, this is bearish, isn't it? Oh, that's a 30-minute chart. What am I looking at a 30-minute chart for? Yeah, this is Wiccan Technology over here. Let's erase all this line. Let's kind of start from scratch. Very thin bodies on my long term. I feel like this is a retracement move, and I'm oversold. So what we're doing here is being rangy. We're going to come back up to the top of this range and then sell it off again. There's your structure. Sell off. So rangy play today on, or rangy play this week rather, excuse me, on New Zealand US. New Zealand Swiss. Oversold, so I got to retest this high, come up like this. I don't mind the buy trade on this one as much, but then I got to get out. If you're not out of this trade by the weekly R1, get out. Be done with it. This just feels like it could be. I think I drew this because, like, look, if we break this structure here, we're going down to this spot. Well, we didn't break this structure. We held, and we came up to this spot up here. Now, notice, too, you've got an upper boundary. Oh, man, look at that. You got an upper boundary. So get out of your long trades right here at 63.20. If you want to sell here, I mean, pick your poison. I don't know. There's probably lower hanging fruit besides this pair to trade. But if you're in some kind of a hedge situation and you're battling this pair, you got to get out of your longs here and consider getting short. Especially if you have like a, which you will, a 480 or a 240 overbought at this spot here at 63.20. New Zealand yen, we broke all this structure here, so this is another reason why these lines, I like them, but they can also, if they get broken, you got to be aware this is no longer in play. We got a different, there's a new sheriff in town. That's a really steep line. I don't know how much I like this. That's a really steep resistance structure. Look at where I'm at here in the bottom. A lot of support. Almost testing it here, weekly S1. So if you're going to sell this thing off again, and now's not probably the time to do it, wait for an overbought condition first. Get yourself an overbought condition. Maybe you got a daily pivot going this afternoon. You know, you could run this or try to run this down to retest this support structure. At some point, this is another one where it's going to come to a head. You've got this really strong floor here and this descending line of highs. Some point in here, we're going to have a breakout. And this pattern here typically corresponds with a retest of this and then finally a breakdown. You're making these descending highs and you're trying to hold this structure level here. So this could be one where we break out to the south. If we don't if we don't do this, by the time this starts to run out of time, we're going down. So keep an eye on this one. If this resistance holds going into probably the end of the week, this might be something to look at getting short in. Short to where? I mean, oof, there's no bottom here. So we'll have to see. That makes me nervous about a short. I've really got to almost, to me on this one, I've almost got to break this first, get my pullback, and then engage. Because this is no man's land down in here. Trail stop it. Come back up here, do a sell trade. Put a bottomless take profit. In other words, no take profit. Just slap a 40 or 50 pips trail stop on it. Let it run. See what happens. Or, you know, whatever amount of trail stop you want to use. US CAD, almost at the end of this, guys. Yeah, buy it. Buy it and head up towards weekly R1. This is my, so higher high, higher low. This is a weekly chart over here. I bet you if I looked at like a 480 or a 240, I'm oversold. I know I'm oversold on the 240. Let's see what the 480 looks like. Long-term hikes are long. This represents a pullback. That's what these hikes represent. Yeah, I'm oversold looking to buy up. So this is a buy trade. US CAD going to 133.68. That's the play. For me anyway. And really, I'm going to have to break the 618 retracement of this, which puts me at 132.59. So I'm not panicking on this buy trade at all. I'm not panicking, period. But I'm not really looking to take any action on a hedge or something until I break this 618 line and get down into this area. And then even then, I'm just looking for my pullback. Because could we not come down to this spot and then zip right back up? That could happen too. So give me my pullback, you know, at lower high, and then I'll have to get hedged at some point. Okay. US Swissy, you already know my play on this. Looks like I feel like I could have come down a little bit more. This is definitely a buy zone for me. If we test weekly S1, I'm buying the heck out of it. Don't know if we'll make it though. You've already seen my position. I'm in a long term. I'm collecting the swap fee, but I'm in a long term trade looking to retest a buck. That dollar, this is that parity spot at a buck. It's a really important area if you look historically. Let's see, I wonder if we just do a day. This is that dollar, that parity spot. It's like a magnet. It brings it back down and it comes out, going down. It's like it comes back up to it, and then it just comes back up to it, back up to it. That dollar even spot's a really important number for the U.S. Swiss. So my play is to rest it. And if I'm in this thing for several days or several weeks, I don't really care. I'm collecting the swap fee every day. I'm making money on it. So if it happens today or tomorrow or next week, I don't care. I'm looking for the retest of a buck even. I don't mind. I've done it. I don't know how much money I've made off carry trades like this, where I've just been in something for just weeks, even months. And then when I finally hit my target or I get close to it, I've made so much money on the swaps, I'm almost not interested in the pips I made because the swaps made me, a lot of money on the position. Anyway, US yen. This looks like a bearish thing to me, right? This is really awkward drawing on your channels, but you do have this upper boundary here. Still bearish. You're below trend line, buried on the long term. Long-term hikes are down. Even the moderate hikes have been down, although a little bit of pullback here recently. So I think the play on this is just to maybe retest your trend line and then look for your next move down. Trying to get back into this midpoint at 106.50. I don't really like being aggressive on the sell side on this, but what else can you do right now? You're overbought. You kind of have to do it. Again, trade war resolution. Boom. On all your dollar crosses. Trade war resolution, global risk on is back. All that stuff. CAD yen's bearish. Overbought conditions, selling it off. Again, this is weak on strong. You got a strong yen or moderately strong yen with a weak CAD. At a minimum, a conservative trade is to go back to this 106.80 spot. If you want to go down to the weekly S1, it's 106.42. Right next to midpoint 106.50. So that's your play. What else can I do? I'm bearish. Long-term bearish. Had a nice little pullback here. That's neat. But you see, this is what you're looking for if you're a bear. You actually want these green candles. You want this pullback. Look at this fib level. High, low. That's a 38.2 retracement. And your extension is all the way down here, for crying out loud, at 106.30. So I'm even giving you some really conservative targets to take some profits on this thing. your fib's predicting a move to even even lower spots, right? Quick take on gold. We made a move back down 1500 this morning. This 618 is still holding, in my mind, still holding, which predicts long term. We've had this move down from end of September, this end of September bearish leg. We've had the pullback on that, and I still feel like a retest of 1465 or something like that is in play. 1460 maybe. So I'm still looking for this to materialize. Again, it's all contingent on trade war stuff. And right now, see, I'm oversold. So yeah, maybe you're still just going to kind of, maybe it's going to keep battling around this zone for a bit until we see a better, maybe fundamental catalyst to make that happen. I can't take any hedging action until I break this spot here, this 1510. Bitcoin rebounded this morning. Gap down pretty good. We've gone back up above 8,100. How do you play Bitcoin? Buy the dips. Get over here to this thing. I'm going to change the analysis on this. Buy the dips on the long term. If you want to use a 480, that's fine. A daily, that's fine. 480 is probably the better play here. But buy your dips. If you're trying to invest in Bitcoin or find good entry spots, buy your dips. Buy your dips. Buy your dips. You're in a trough right now, this 8,000 spot. So I think it's a good time to get into some Bitcoin, some crypto. Look at your weekly probably. Nice and oversold. Nice and oversold. Good time to buy Bitcoin, guys and gals. I don't know what it's going to go up to, but there's my guess. All right. Hey, good rundown, folks. If you have questions on anything that was talked about this morning in the webinar, go ahead and post it in the chat room. Look for the daily pivot trades to be posted this afternoon, and also tonight. Basic training, we'll talk more about Heikin Ashi. All right? See you then.